everybody, so I just got done watching Cherry Falls a week ago. Because this isn't gonna be released right away. So over a week ago I saw this movie. So I'm not shooting this live. I never really shoot reviews right after I watch it because I like to let it soak in, so to speak. Like a sponge, just let it soak, whatever. And then I just sit and I just think about it. I don't ever review movies right after because then my reviews would probably suck and I wouldn't have much to say. So I sit down and I start writing notes. I actually wrote notes this time. I usually type notes on my phone, but I'm sick of that shit. Because then by the time I get home from work, my phone's dead, and this is the only time I have time to fucking do this shit. So then it's like, oh, I want to review a movie. Oh shit, I can't because my phone's dead. Not anymore, bitch. Excuses are over. I got it written down. So let's talk about Cherry Falls. This is starring Brittnay Murphy, right up there in the front, rest in peace. Michael Biehn, Kyle Reese from The Terminator, which I will be reviewing all those leading up to the new one coming up. And Gabriel, Mann, and Mohr from Small Soldier and all kinds of stuff. But especially Small Soldier. That's the movie I loved growing up. Now, this movie was directed by Geoffrey Wright? Geoffrey Wright? Yeah. This came out in 2000, and it's about a serial killer who murders virgins. So that prompts everybody into wanting to have a quote-unquote fuckfest by the end of it. And this movie has zero boobs. Zero nudity at all. Like, nothing. Think about that. That makes no sense. Period. It's fucking unbelievable. So, yeah, let's get into this. What do I like about this movie? Well, I like that the killer kills virgins. I like that this premise is basically a flip on what we know and love about slashers growing up, and that is, killer kills all the bad ones that are having sex and doing drugs, and then at the end there's the final girl, the innocent one, the Laurie Strode, the Alice, the Nancy that survives to the end and kills the killer, and then roll credits. Except this one, it does that too. Like, it's like, the premise is the killer kills virgins, because it's like, it's trying to be a spoof of horror movies, I guess. But by the end of it, it does what it's making fun of. By the end of it, Brittnay Murphy is a virgin still. She never has sex with her boyfriend. He breaks up with her because she won't have sex, and they don't ever do it. And by the end of it, she kills the killer, and she's still a virgin. So this movie is what it hates, or what it's making fun of. So it's making fun of itself. Now, I'll save that for later. I like that the killer has a signature, like, jigsaw. He has, like, that thing that he carves into people. And this is before Jigsaw, so technically, Jigsaw ripped this movie off with the whole carving a symbol or word into the victims. I'm sure there might have been a movie before this that has something similar to that. I just don't know about it yet. Sorry, but this is the first one now that I know about where the killer carves the word virgin into the victim's legs. So I like that. And I think the killer fucks his victims too. Like, he kills them and then fucks them, or he kills them after he fucks them. I'm not quite sure on that. I think there's like a autopsy scene where they say that the killer defiles them and then kills them. But yeah, I like the sex party at the end because it makes sense. Like, think about it logically. If you were in this scenario as a high school kid, 17 years old, 18, and you find out that there's a killing spree going on and you have to have sex to survive, what better opportunity to lie about being a virgin? Like, yes, this is a great place to be in as a virgin because now you finally got an excuse. Any woman's gonna fuck you. Like, even at the end, where, like, just even the geeks are getting laid, or supposedly they're about to. Like, great fucking opportunity, great reason to get laid. So it's like, please fuck me, or I'll die. So it's a good cause. So again, that just goes back to premise. I just love it. The way, like, the comedy that comes from that situation is just gold. Like, the comedy in this movie had me laughing. There's so many scenes where I was just cracking up. So many, like, just moments where, like, girls are like, okay, girls, we're going to go out there and get laid. Don't expect it to be amazing. These are a bunch of virgins. It's going to be your first time. It might hurt. This person's going to come in like 2 seconds. It's not going to be amazing, girls. And like, are we going to orgasm? And they're like, don't count on it. It ain't happening. I just love so many scenes where it's just that, where it's a comedy. But unfortunately, there's scenes where this movie's serious, and I couldn't tell what the tone was, because at the beginning, it sets the wrong tone, and I'll get into that. But the backstory is meh. It's very Stir of Echoes. Like, it's like, these people did something wrong and they were football stars and they had a bright future ahead of them. We weren't going to let them ruin it because of one mistake. And then you find out that those people didn't have bright futures. They went on to be spoiler alert, the sheriff, the principal. It's like, that's not a bright future to me. So I say you just throw their asses in jail. I don't think this movie could be made today in this whole Me Too movement. Like, take girls serious, take their accusations serious, guilty before proved innocent. That this day and age we're living in. This movie's backstory is basically a girl who got raped, and she told everybody, and they're like, "You're lying." That movie can't come out today, especially with all these trials that go on, and this person was accused, or they didn't believe, just whatever. Like, today, I don't think this movie could work. Like, it would not be made, or it would not be released. And then what else do I like about it? That's basically it. I like the final shot. The final shot, as dumb as it might be to some, visually, I thought it was kind of smart and cool. Just to kind of end it on that shot, I thought it was pretty creative. Now, I don't have any awards. I don't think I do. No, I'm not going to give awards for this movie. Let's just okay, so my cons for this movie, everything else. Okay, so this is one of those late 90s, early 2000s movies where it's just heavily influenced by the popularity of Scream. So this is yet another stupid spoof parody movie where it's just making fun of horror, or it's just like doing those tropes on purpose. Like even the sex scene, and I'll get into it in my spoiler section. I will have a spoiler section, so I'm not going to spoil who the killer is. This is a safe review, in case you haven't seen it and you want like a yay or nay. If you like 90s horror movies, this is up your alley. If you like gore and boobs, or just like that kind of stuff, stay away from it. So yeah, this movie has like no gore, no on-screen kills whatsoever. There's aftermaths, and even the aftermaths, you don't see it. You just see people's reactions to it, like, "Oh my god, body!" And it's like, what's it look like? I want to see it. Like even the beginning, okay, the tone of this movie, I didn't even know it was a parody until like halfway through, and kind of started to sink. I was like, this movie's not taking itself too serious, is it? And it's like, I didn't know that because the open was like very serious. It felt like a very generic horror movie. Killer rolls up, kills two victims that were about to have sex, and they have this weird foreplay dialogue. The way the things that guy was saying was just off-putting. I don't know what he said. I didn't write it down, but it's the weirdest like dirty talk I've ever heard in my life. But the score of this movie does not work at all. If you're gonna rip off horror movies or just make fun of them, at least try with the score and make it sound like the movies you're making fun of. The score does not work for me, and I think I found a clip. I'll put it right here. This is what you hear in this fucking movie. It's awful. Another thing I do not like about this movie is the killer and his get-up. I get it because this movie apparently is a parody, it's a spoof, so therefore you can't take the killer's costume too serious either. The killer dresses up like a woman, has red nail polish that he can quickly remove in between scenes, and then he has a black wig, he's got makeup, although you never really see his face, conveniently somehow it's always shadowed, and he's got high heels, he's got black leggings and whatnot, he's got a skirt. And that makes it harder for you to chase down your victim, so it's not a smart choice to wear high heels, moron. But yeah, there's just so many things I did not like about this movie. The comedy is the only thing that saved this for me, where I was actually having a good time. So I'll say that. Now, the whole rape story is predictable. Like, you don't know the motivation, technically, but as the movie's going on, you're like, I wonder why he's killing virgins. Well, what's the first thing you can think of? Rape. Like, if you went to anyone on the street, it was like, movie about a guy who kills virgins only. Why? Because rape? He got raped? Somebody got raped? Yeah, exactly. Mom got raped, and she beat the shit out of her. Whatever. It's just predictable, it's dumb, it's silly. But then again, maybe that was on purpose because of what the movie's trying to be. Maybe that all works. But to me, I took the movie, I guess, more serious than I should have. And, yeah, so I didn't like the killer. And then, yeah, the gore. What gore? There is no gore. The MPAA fucked this movie to death. They had their way with it. Just like the girl in this movie. What was her name? Whatever. Forget it. I don't remember. Sherman. Pamela Sherman, whatever. Just like that girl, This movie was raped by the MPAA. They cut it to pieces, and then they just sent it straight to DVD. This was supposed to go out to theaters, but it never did. So this is technically, at the time, the most expensive straight-to-DVD home video movie ever made, with like $14 million in the budget. Now, I wonder how much of that went to Michael Biehn. Yeah, this is just a very tongue-in-cheek movie, and I didn't enjoy that aspect of it at all. There's no sex, there's nothing to enjoy, there's no gore, the killer, the score, nothing worked for me. Even the way it's lit, atmosphere, there's lack of atmosphere in this movie. There wasn't anything visually cool about it. It's just bland. It's just very late 90s, early 2000s horror. I did not enjoy this movie quite so. So, yeah. There's even like a generic, like, let's go research the killer at the basement of the library scene and let's use the microfilm and all the newspapers and that stuff that you don't see no more. It's like, how many times are we going to see that? So, yeah, it didn't. The characters. Let's talk about that. Jody, Brittnay Murphy, and Kenny. So Jody and Kenny, their relationship, I didn't give a fuck about it. Like, the movie opens up with them, like, breaking up because she won't fuck him, and then, like, the next day, he's, like, flirting with this girl, and he's, like, shoving it in her face, like, look, I found the next best thing, and she's like, oh, fuck you, and all butthurt about it, and then she's, like, flirting with the teacher, and that's awkward, but it doesn't go anywhere. It's never, like, said out loud, like, does she love him? Is there something there? And then she just immediately jumps back on board because of, like, the scare of getting killed. She's like, well, I'm going to go finally bang my ex-boyfriend. And then that doesn't happen. And then they're not together. And then they're, like, kind of together at the end. Like, their relationship was awkward and weird. I didn't know what were they doing? Were they together? Were they not at the end? It was just awkward. Like, they just kept going back and forth. And, yeah, even when she's, like, about to have sex with him, he's just like, no, I'm too nervous, you're too kinky, and yeah, it was pretty dumb. So, final thoughts before my rating and spoiler section. So, my final thoughts is that if you like late 90s, early 2000s horror, whodunits, this might be up your alley. This might be your thing. If you like on-screen kills, creative kills, a cool-looking killer who's intimidating, you're not going to get that at all. This killer is very skinny and it's a woman. You think it's a woman, but you know it's a man. Like, there's shots where it's clearly a man's hand and there's shots where it's a woman's hand. They use two different hands on set to trick you, but I wasn't being fooled. I knew it was a man minute one. Although they did kind of trick me. I have a few suspects I wrote down and I'll show you after my rating. So, yeah, this is just like Scream. If you like Scream, if you love Scream and you love, like, I Know What You Did Last Summer, you might like this. But to me, it was just very middle of the road. Okay, I really just enjoyed the comedy of it. I had a fun time with just the premise of it. So when it comes to Cherry Falls, maybe just check this one out at Redbox. It's not the worst thing, but let's go into my spoilers. Now, I'm not sure if I can get you to see this. I wrote down my suspects as I was watching this movie. I was like, I'm going to write down who I think the killer might be. And I wrote down at the top, can you see it? I don't think you can. Like, I don't think I'll get you to see it, because then it's just going to get pitch black. But it's up there at the top. Focus on it. Does it? Does it say it? All right, well, you can't read it, but it says, Suspect number 1, Mr. Marliston, the t-shirt. And that's who the killer is. And then I wrote number 2, the mom, because she's creepy. She's like flirting with the daughter's boyfriend, and then she kisses her daughter on the lips. I was like, what the fuck? Like, kiss me like a little mouse, and they kiss each other. I'm sorry, but that's not in my household. Never. I never kissed my mom on the lips. Some families do that, I guess, but that's just too much. That's weird as fuck. And then I wrote suspect number 3 was the secretary to the principal. She has like one scene and no dialogue. She kind of like opens the door, lets someone in, but she gives the principal like, the fuck me eyes, like she's like flirting with the principal with her eyes, just the way she like looks at the principal. I was like, there's something going on there. Maybe she's the killer. But then you find out that the killer is supposed to be like at least 27, and then you look at the t-shirt and you're like, well, that's, there you go. I was right. But yeah, what else? So the girl in the open is a dick tease. So the girl, like I said, the weird like foreplay dialogue, their dirty talk was awful. He's like trying to grab at her, like slip his fingers up towards her crotch, and then she says something like, no, never. And then like She literally scratches his face open, like he's bleeding. Kicks him out of his own car, or I think she gets out of the car. But then, like, a minute later, they're back in the car, like, back at it, about to make out. And she says something along the lines like, I do want to do it with you. But just, like, she has, like, just the typical woman excuse in these movies about, like, it's not the time, or I want there to be candlelight, something like that. She's a dick tease. Like, she wants it, but she doesn't. And it's like, make up your fucking mind before you get raped. All right. So, and then the mom, yeah, she's super fucking weird. And Jimmy is a dick. You go to the classroom and the teacher's like, 2 people died last night, your classmates, everybody reflect, say what you remembered about them. And Jimmy's like, were they raped before they were killed? And how many orifices were defiled? And were there any body parts like spread across the scene? How many pieces were they hacked up into? That's what I need to know. Jimmy is a dick. Too soon, Jimmy. Way too fucking soon. And then, yeah, just the creepy conversation with Brittnay about being the virgin. Like, the adults in this movie are so creepy. I don't know if it's on purpose or if the writer is just a freak. Because Michael Biehn is talking to his daughter and he needs to know, like, are you a virgin? Because if you are, you're in danger. But he never even says that. He just wants to know if she's a virgin. He never, like, says it to her because she doesn't know what's going on with the killings and why. So he's just like, are you a virgin? I need to know. Yes? Whew, you're still my little girl, but now you're gonna die, most likely. It's an awkward conversation, just the way it plays out. And then, like, later, he's teaching her self-defense because there's pieces of shit out there like him who rape girls, and even, like, how he raped the girl in this story. It's just hilarious, like, the way, like, not hilarious, but because it's awful what happened, but just the way it's presented, like his drunken friends, like he's the drunkest of them all, he can't even function. So how is his dick hard? I've never been drunk before, but I've heard that if you get like whiskey drunk, you can't even get a hard on. So how is he raping anybody? He looks like he's practically dead. In that flashback, they're just like 3 of his buddies are forcing him on top of this girl to rape her, and it's just dumb. But anyways, yeah, he's ironically teaching his daughter self-defense to use against people like him, and he falls on top of her or she falls on top of him, and they have that moment that usually couples have, or couples, soon-to-be couples, people who kind of like each other but they won't say it, just like look at each other's eyes, that awkward moment. But they're a daughter and father, like father and daughter, just on top of each other, and they kind of stare into each other's eyes in the moment of silence, like they're flirting with each other. It's just awkward. That's how I read that scene. So, yeah, very fucking stupid. Okay, so, and then the principal says, one of my favorite lines in the movie, he's like, if you go in there and you tell all the parents that there's a killer out there murdering virgins, we're going to have ourselves a full-on fuckfest. That was pretty funny. And then we got Timmy in this movie, he was in Texas Chainsaw 3D and Punisher Warzone. He's that cokehead who got punched right in his face. A hole punched in his face, quite literally, by the Punisher. And then there's like guys taking credit for the murders. That's a real thing in real life. I don't get it, but I thought that was interesting. I've never seen that in a horror movie before, so I thought that was kind of cool. It's different. Doesn't do anything, but again, they know they're full of shit when they come in. Like, oh, I'm the one who did it. And they're like, whatever, you're not the guy. You do not fit the description. And, okay, so just like Scream, the killer goes after Brittnay Murphy, even though towards the end it seems like he wanted her, like, for last, and he wanted to tie her up and give her the whole story. But yet he attacked her in the middle of the movie, and then he's, like, trying to carve version into her before she's even dead, and he knows she's not dead. It was just a dumb chase sequence. It really was. But I like that she, like, cut the shark, and the shark, like, went down and knocked his ass into, like, the cage. He's just a clumsy killer, and why would you try to carve that before she's even dead? So that was just odd. But yeah, and then, like, the whole telling the story thing, again, just like Scream, there's, like, that motivation speech towards the end, like, here's why I'm doing it. It's like, we don't need to hear it. But what I like about this one is Brittnay Murphy, she already got the full story from her mom, so then when the killer's trying to give it, she's like, shut up, I've already heard the story. I was like, yes, We never hear that. We never hear like someone just be like, spare me, just shut the fuck up. I don't need to hear your reasons of why. Just kill me and get it over with. She's like, I've already heard it, buddy. And he's like, I don't care. You're gonna hear it again. I like that Jody is suddenly popular just because she almost got killed. And somehow the word got around and they're all like, oh my gosh, it's Jody. She almost got murdered. Let's like try to get a photograph with her. And then we learn about the Sherman girl and there's like this crib and it's like clearly a torture crib. Apparently she tortured her baby and child all his life because he resembled the man who raped her, who she once loved. Blah, blah, blah. Very predictable, very dumb. But then again, that's just what the movie's going for, I guess. If it wants to be a comedy and dumb paint-by-numbers horror, it works, I guess. I don't know, not for me. And then Kenny's into feet. Yeah, okay, so here's the sex scene, the foreplay. I felt like after watching this movie, I thought back on it. I was like, oh, so this movie, since it's a parody of horror movies, they're doing a parody of sex scenes in horror movies? Because this sex scene, one, there's no sex, but it's just disgusting. Brittnay Murphy, she's about to have sex with her boyfriend, and she's like slapping him in the face with her feet, and then he starts sucking on her big toe, and she's like, suck it, bite it, harder. And he's like, too much, and he just leaves. And she's like, whatever, fuck you, I'm gonna go to that sex party. And then he like follows her there. But it's like the most disgusting scene in this whole movie, and it's awkward, and it's just like, it doesn't fit. Like, seriously, like, that's just disgusting. I don't know, like, was that a parody of like sex scenes? Is that what that's supposed to be? I don't get it. That needs to be cut out of the movie. Like, I can't watch this movie again because of that scene alone. There's a character named Mark, and he's at the party, and he like keeps bumping into people, and they all keep saying, oh, hi, Mark, and it kept making me think of The Room, just the way they keep saying, oh, hi, Mark. And then the guy says, butt pirate. I don't know why I wrote that down. I guess it just made me laugh. And because it doesn't work today. You can't say that today. You can't say butt pirate. You can't make fun of gay people. They're like, I always knew he was a butt pirate. They're accusing Kenny of being gay. Then the killer reveal. I like that he's like, you know, like, she's like, who's in the trunk? And he's like, oh, just your dad. And I was like, I knew it. And then Kenny saves the day. I like that Kenny, he just fights immediately. He's not taking any chances. He opens the door. He's like, why are you wearing like nail polish? And he's like, because it makes me feel pretty. He just punches him in the gut before he can get stabbed, throws his ass outside, locks the door, goes to save the day. And then the killer has that cliche like axe in the log outside, like bright and shiny, like, I got it. And it's like chopping down the door. I thought for sure he was going to say like, here's Johnny, but he didn't. And then somehow Michael Biehn gets his ass handed to her. Like, he's kicking Mr. Marlston's ass. You're like, yes, kick his ass, Michael Biehn. But then he just simply boom, stabbed in the throat and then axed to death off camera. Ugh. Everything's off camera. But yeah, Michael Biehn would kick his ass, no doubt about it. So that's bullshit right there. And then the killer, who wasn't in his outfit, like, his victims are getting away, but he takes the time to change back into his lady outfit to go chase them. I thought that was stupid. It's like, really? You're that into it? Like, he's that dedicated? Like, I can only kill you if I'm in killer girl mode, even though I just killed Michael Biehn in my guy outfit, so breaking the rules, man. And then, yeah, Jody doesn't get on the bike that she had right outside. It's like she went there on her bike, and when she's running out with Kenny, there's your bike. You can go like an extra 10, 15 miles an hour quicker away. And the sex party is like right next door, supposedly. Like, they run like a minute in that direction. Like, oh, there's the sex party conveniently next door to the killer. And then, yeah, the killer, he pops up. But before that, like, they bust in the door and they're like, everybody run! There's the killer! He's chasing us! It's our t-shirt! And nobody, like, flinches. They're just like, whatever, I'm losing my virginity here. And then the killer comes in and he's like, class dismissed! I guess, I thought that was funny, but still just dumb. And then there's like 50 people in this room and nobody tackles him. All he has is like a switchblade or something, like a very small knife. And he's like, slice, 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 and through them all, and nobody's tackling him. They're all just like doing this pile up on the stairs. Somebody had to get their neck broken in that situation. As a claustrophobic myself, that's the scariest moment in the whole movie. It's just them on a staircase, just piling on like 50 bodies on top of each other, like the end of a soccer game or a football pileup, just something like that. Like, that's my worst fucking nightmare. It's just being at the bottom of that pit of body. It's just like, cannot breathe. Even if there was like airflow, I would like think that there wasn't, and I would just die of suffocation. So yeah, that was the scariest part of the movie to me. Alright, my battery just died. I've been talking forever. Shout out to Child's Play. You need to watch this, alright? Just want to promote this movie real quick. This is seriously a great movie. I don't care what you like. Hashtag not my Chucky people are saying out there. Fucking watch it, alright? Get it and support it so we can get a sequel. Alright, so I'm going to throw that promotion, that little, promo right there, the advertisement. Go get Child's Play today. So yeah, to end this fucking review, she throws the killer off the balcony using that technique, although not really. Like, she was taught to like throw a guy over her shoulders, but instead they like grab arms and she just like lets him go. Okay, well, that didn't come back into play. I guess that's funny. It's like, oh, you were expecting this, but they didn't give it to you. Ha ha ha. Because even earlier, like in the hallway when she's being chased, she's like going to use that technique, but instead he like bumps her with his like leg and she like goes fly into the locker, like smashes her head. So I thought that was kind of funny. But yeah, throws the killer over the balcony. He lands on like broken wood, spikes are poking, and he lands on it, but we don't get to see the impact. And then he comes back for one last scare, just like in the Scream movies. They talk about it. It's in here. Comes back for one last scare. Then the female cop, she shows up and she like dual wheel, like blasts him away. And his hand just gets like torn off by it. It's like stuck on that guy's head. But yeah, that's the end of the movie. And Brittnay Murphy, she's like hallucinating the mom now, like potential sequel, like the mom's gonna get revenge now after what her son did, as if she would give a shit. She abused that kid for 20 years, so I don't think she needs to avenge him. She didn't care about him, so I'm glad we didn't get a sequel. We don't need another one. Alright, let's just end it here. And let's end this review here. So yeah, that's the end of my thoughts on Cherry Falls. What did you think about this movie? Put your thoughts of this film in the comments below. Is it your favorite late 90s, early 2000s horror movie? Let me know. And thank you so much for joining me tonight. If you like what you've seen here, you can hit this like button. And you can become a subscriber today just by clicking on my cartoon face in about 5 seconds. And until next time, auf Wiedersehen.